I've trained calisthenics for 10 years. I've solely focused on strength. But what's on the other side? What can we learn from endurance? This is my journey to running a 70-kilometer ultramarathon in Japan. Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 37 of Road to Shimanami, and today we have another leg day. Now, first part of the leg day has been finished this morning. It was an interval running session, which is, well, of course, speed focused, but I like to call it strength work for running. And basically, during that run, I forgot to configure my intervals. So all of a sudden, it was like kilometer number 6. I was supposed to start my intervals, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, hey, they're not configured. So I had to kind of switch around and go to plan B. And it might sound like a stupid example and exaggerated for what I'm about to say, but of course, when we train for goals when we have things we want to achieve, we kind of come up with this plan that we try to follow, right? And that's a good thing, right? We try to stick to this plan. We might have a program where you have the sets and reps configured and the rest time configured and things like that. You might have a diet plan where you have the amount of calories that you're eating, right? And the amount of protein that you want to eat. And that's a good thing to stick to, but when, shit comes up and things don't go to plan, it's very important to kind of show some flexibility in your mindset and execution of that plan as well. Because once you hit this roadblock, as Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. You don't want to be the guy that gets punched in the face and then just goes down immediately, right? You want to fight back. You want to see if you can still achieve something. So the worst option that you can do is to then just, quit and say, well, I guess today there are no intervals, right? Which is a thought that crossed my mind, if I'm honest. But you don't want to do that immediately, right? Because then you achieve nothing. And instead what you want to do is you want to kind of figure out how you can still, bend around the rules a little bit, adapt to the situation, and still get an efficient and effective workout in the case of training, or whatever situation you're in, how you can get something useful out of it. And I think that's very important. So what I did is, instead of basing my intervals off of the time that I'm supposed to configure, 2 minutes fast, 1 minute steady, I just did it based on distance, right? I know 500 meters, it's gonna be just about 2 minutes, perhaps a bit longer. And then for the steady part, I take a rest time, right? 200 meters, that's gonna be about 1 minute. Fine, that's good. Now I can do my intervals as well. And guess what? I have tired legs, I got some speed work in me, I had some good strides, so I'm happy, right? And even though it wasn't the original plan, it was still way, way better than nothing at all. I would say it was almost as good as the original plan, right? So you just want to stay moving, right? You want to stay consistent, but in order to stay consistent, you have to be kind of flexible with how you approach your workouts or whatever thing you're aiming to do. But anyway, today is gonna be, or I guess right now, is gonna be part 2 of the strength workouts, which is gonna be legs, pistol squats, and Nordic curls. And well, this might be one of the last sessions that I'm actually strong enough to do 30 kilos on the pistol squats and some Nordic curls outside. So I'm gonna damn enjoy it, because, well, right now I'm still building my base. I'm doing about 70 kilometers every week, right? 10 kilometers every day. It's slowly moving up to like 80, and it's gonna move even beyond that soon, because some key endurance sessions are coming up. I've made my feet stronger. Now I can handle some more volume. So, when I'm starting to run longer in the upcoming couple weeks, it's gonna be very difficult, to get in those squats. It's gonna be very difficult to put out power when there is like, let's say 40 kilometers in my legs over the past couple days. But yeah, that's gonna be something to worry about right then. Now I just want to enjoy the fact that I am still able to squat, and well, I'm gonna do it with 30 kilos, 3 sets of 5 reps. So let's go. All right, these are becoming more difficult every week, but I guess that's to be expected. But still, got them done. I guess for now that's the most important part. I'm gonna head outside and do the Nordic curls. Okie dokie, so some pull-ups. That's weird, it's a leg day. Well, I guess that's a bit of a teaser for tomorrow's topic, but when it comes to the leg day, that's gonna be it. 3 sets of pistol squats, 3 sets of Nordic curls, and when it comes to the leg workout, I really just try to get a good return on investment, get bang for my buck. So I do exercises. Well, I have lots of exercises in the toolbox when it comes to leg day. You have not only the pistol squat and the Nordic curl, but also hamstring bridges and Bulgarian squats and normal squats and weighted normal squats, heel elevated squats, lunges, whatever you want, you have it, right? You can do so much in your leg day, even with only calisthenics, right? We're not even mentioning if you're going to the gym, but I'm trying to pick the exercises that are really gonna align with my goal. And my goal at the moment is getting better endurance for running. So I have to kind of pick the exercises that don't take too much away from that running, because, well, guess what? Leg strength, even though I'm trying to maintain it, is quite the opposite of leg endurance. They are, going in each other's way, because if you're trying to squat a lot of weight, well, you're not going to have energy to run. And when you run a lot, you don't have energy to squat heavy weight. So you kind of have to find these exercises that are, allowing you to, or in my case, allowing me to maintain the leg strength while not taking away that much energy from the running. The pistol squat, I like it very much, because guess what? Not only am I able to, put quite a lot of stress on my quadriceps, I am also not damaging my spine or anything with huge amounts of weight, because I'm only squatting on one leg, so I don't need a lot of weight, right? So it's a very good bang for my buck. The same with the Nordic curl, I'm able to train my hamstrings efficiently. And if, let's say, I took another exercise, right? As an example, the sissy squat would be a very bad one, because what is the purpose of the sissy squat? It's it's an isolating exercise for your quadriceps, and you're basically using the exercise as a finisher to squeeze every ounce of strength out of your quadriceps to push them to grow. Very useful in a bulking context. I use this exercise during my bulk, but when it comes to running, I don't want to squeeze out the last ounce of power of my quadriceps, because I'm going to need them the next day to run. So it takes a lot out of my quadriceps, and in return, perhaps I only get 5% of extra maintenance or strength gains, right, for the maintenance I'm trying to do on these quadriceps. So a very bad return on investment. And that's something I'm really trying to pay attention to. And it's something that's very important if you're training multiple disciplines at the same time. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's workout. And well, I guess right now, in contrast to yesterday, I'm just going to have some dinner and I'll see you tomorrow for a recovery day. But it's going to be an interesting one. So I'll see you then.